A lot of my friends have also said that everyone thinks all South Indians are Madrasis. Now, I don't know why everyone thinks the entire South India is just Madras.
That's
Eh?
I thought being South Indian is all about, waking up at 4, taking a hair wash, going to the temple and sitting there and doing like 12 hours puja because we used to do that very often.
Every time a South Indian is portrayed as someone who is dark skinned,
Don't attack me, but I strongly agree.
I love South Indian food. Like from fish fry to sambar, every bit of South Indian food is.
It's just
no
it's
offense.
like
What do
that.
you mean no offense? It is an offense.
I would say that I somewhat agree with it.
I strongly agree.
okay, I somewhat agree.
I strongly disagree.
I also strongly disagree.
I somewhat agree because I've seen a lot of people who have that thing like in their families that they need to either get married or date someone from their own caste or whatever. But that's not the thing at my place since our family is not that orthodox, so that's why I somewhat agree with it.
Okay, so majority of people in my community, we don't even have an option to date actually. So it's like our parents are gonna find a partner for us.
It's not like they're pressurizing, but then they prefer that I get close to someone of the same caste.
My parents, they do not care who I marry as long as I get married. That's their only concern in life. So, no, yeah, I strongly disagree.
I agree with the statement that is made.
I somewhat agree.
Even I somewhat agree.
Yeah, I somewhat agree.
I somewhat agree.
A lot of my friends have also said that everyone thinks all South Indians are Madrasis. Now, I don't know why everyone thinks the entire South India is just Madras, but that is just, I mean, you look at any basic Indian political map, you see there are a lot of borders and a lot of states in South India, but still everyone thinks we're from Madras, everyone. So that is like really, a lot of my friends have told that also, that, oh, you're from Madras. So I'm like, yeah, I'm from Madras. So yeah, that's why I agree with this statement.
I somewhat agree because I think it firstly depends on the person who's cracking these jokes, like stereotypical jokes. Like if it's a North Indian, then I might be like, oh, dude, that's not the case because they just know the one-sided story about South Indians. Whereas when a South Indian cracks the joke, they know the entire South Indian, which is why they're just picking one part of it and cracking a joke about it.
I mean, I've noticed especially in the case of movies, like the way they portray South Indians is just very funny, and they are like very specific stereotypes, like their pronunciations, and every time a South Indian is portrayed as someone who is dark skinned, so I find even those stereotypes funny. So yeah.
I also somewhat agree that I go with all the points, but sometimes it does get annoying, even though it's funny. Like you get a call from a friend, and then he's like, "Where are you?" I'm at McDonald's. I'm eating. The next question is, "Are you having sambar?" I'm like, "Dude, listen, I'm in McDonald's." Okay. So it gets annoying at one point, but most of the time we laugh at the fact that they actually think we live like, only eating sambar and only wearing veshtis and speak bad English. So it's funny that they actually believe all this. That's all.
Yeah, I strongly disagree.
I agree to it.
I somewhat agree.
I somewhat disagree.
I strongly agree. Like if there's more than strongly agree, I put that also.
I somewhat disagree because like I'm used to being in a nuclear family. It's just a family of 3, and our house is pretty silent. So when like my cousins and all come over, it gets so noisy, which I enjoy at that point of time, but I cannot handle it on an everyday basis. Plus, I'm kind of the oldest, which makes me the babysitter of the kids if it's a joint family, which I do not want to take up. So yeah.
I completely agree because I live in a nuclear family, of course. It's a family of three, and like I have cousins, but then I live abroad, so I'm meeting them is very rare. So it's always three of us, and all three of us always wanted it to be a joint family. And I always have more, like the more number of people I have, the more fun I have in the house. Like of course I enjoy my personal space, but I need the attention. So the extra attention is good. So I like having a lot of people around me. So I've always wanted a joint family. Never had. That's why it's from me.
I strongly disagree with the statement.
I somewhat agree.
I strongly disagree.
I strongly disagree.
I strongly agree. I strongly agree because I had to work a lot to change my accent. And like with friends and everything, I can talk in a South Indian accent. Like I'm okay with talking. But when I want to make an impression on someone, I will avoid the accent as much as possible. And I find it extremely embarrassing to be caught using a South Indian accent. It's not exactly a bad thing, it's more of a personal preference. Like I don't like it.
Okay, I somewhat agree because I have personally felt it. Like when I spoke to one of my North Indian friends, they were like, "Oh, you got that Mallu accent." Yeah, obviously we can't do anything about it. Like since we have a different mother tongue, it's obvious that we have that reflected in our English.
See, we're not people from English speaking countries, and we all have like different um, mother tongues, and we're bound to have those slangs or that those accents while we're speaking. So it's pretty okay. Like you cannot expect, like, listen to a Spaniard speaking English, it does not sound like it's different. And Italians, or so I think it's okay to have an accent while you're speaking a South Indian accent.
Honestly speaking, I really find it funny, not in the bad sense, but I really like the South Indian accent. Like if you would ask this question to me, let's say like a year or 2 years back, then I would really say that I strongly agree with it. But I don't know, like I really like at times in my conversations it does come out, like I do talk in a very typical South Indian way, and I don't really find that as a bad thing or something that that will put people down or show that they're not I don't know dignified enough. I think that would be the right word, enough to interact with others, because like I said, I find it really funny and it just lightens the conversation, man. Like, dude, you talk to South Indians means your day will go well, okay? So it's like nice. So I definitely do not. I would not be embarrassed of myself, and I would not particularly discourage anyone who has an inclination towards that accent also. I strongly disagree.
I strongly agree.
I strongly agree.
I strongly disagree.
I strongly agree.
I love South Indian food. Like the variety of food. I mean, okay, I'm mostly a veg person. I mean, I do eat non-veg, but then the varieties in veg, and I'm from Kerala, so I love Kerala food especially. And the way people eat the food itself, I know it's just very fascinating. I love Kerala food and South Indian food basically.
I mean, I'm not a fan of South Indian food. Uh, I would say I'm kind of bored of eating South Indian food. It could also probably be because I've not explored a lot. That's on me. But yeah, I any day would prefer North Indian over South Indian. Like North Indian over any other cuisine for that matter. So yeah, that's why I strongly disagree. I just like dosa. Like I'll never get bored of dosa. Apart from that, I'll like get bored of everything for sure.
I love South Indian food because of the spice, of course, because it's very spicy, and I grew up eating it like every day. Like dosa is more of an experience. Like mom will make one, you will go sit on the kitchen slab, wait for each dosa. There'll be an entire gossip to talk about. It's a whole experience. So I'm very attached to South Indian food. Although all food is amazing, but South Indian has a very special place.
I agree with this statement.
I disagree.
I strongly disagree.
Okay, so I somewhat disagree.
I strongly agree. I strongly agree because I spent most of my teen years, like throughout 8th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th. I spent the entire time pretending not to be South Indian because I was that ashamed and I wanted to be North Indian. One, because all of my friends were North Indian, so you could say peer pressure. And like I've asked my parents also, why couldn't we be North Indian?
Okay, so I strongly agree because I've never felt like, okay, I don't like being a South Indian, especially like in case of these there'll be a lot of Malayali associations and all, and they keep programs and everything. So I honestly loved being part of that. It made me feel so happy. So yeah, I've always wanted to be in that, what do you say, area of being a South Indian. So I've always liked it. Yeah.
So if I take food part mainly, and especially non-veg, I love South Indian food like much more than North Indian food. And even if you take sambar, sambar really sucks in North India, to be honest. So I really like South Indian food. And I'm a proud South Indian, especially when it comes to food. Yeah.
I'm from South India and I like it because I like Rajnikant.
Daddu.
No, no.